Prime Minister has reportedly scrapped a visit to Washington for this year's NATO summit. Richard Marles to go in his place. Let's go back to Canberra. Joining us is the Assistant Foreign Minister, Tim Watt. Tim, good to see you. Thanks for your time. So, seems an important visit to make, this one. So why is he not going?
Well, it's good to be with you, Peter. Look, I'm sure any travel announcements by the Prime Minister will be made in the usual way. What I can confirm is that on the weekend, the Prime Minister travelled to my electorate in Truganina to talk about the very significant cost of living relief that this government delivered starting from yesterday, July 1. Responsible cost of living relief that puts downward pressure on inflation. You know, yesterday was a really big day in our parliament. It was a day that we saw 2.6 million Australians, low-paid workers, get their third consecutive pay rise backed by this government. Saw 13.6 million Australians, all Australian taxpayers, get a tax cut. Saw PBS medicines freeze, cheaper medicines, which has seen 5 million Australians benefit from $414 million of cost savings for medicines. We saw paid parental leave extended. We saw energy bill relief.
OK, but on this Washington trip, which has been confirmed by Sky News this morning, I mean, why wouldn't he be going?
Well, the Prime Minister has not confirmed that, and any announcements...
Well, his office has confirmed it to us. This is, according to our reporter, Cameron Redden, a short time ago. It's been confirmed to him. Just why hasn't been confirmed, do you know?
Well, I did see Simon Birmingham on the TV earlier. He had a lot to say, and frankly, it was typical of the opposition under Peter Dutton, always wanting to have it both ways. You know, I was in the Parliament last week when Peter Dutton, in front of the Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands, was criticising the Prime Minister for travelling too much. So it's really typical of this opposition under Peter Dutton. It doesn't stand for anything, wants to have it in every way.
Right.
And it's the kind of opportunism that we can't afford on the international stage in serious times.
No, that's a point that I made too. I mean, he's kind of damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. But, I mean, this kind of seems like a big one to go to. Is it because of sensitivities around too much overseas travel?
Well, as I've said before, any travel arrangements would be announced in the usual way. But what we are focused on here in Australia is delivering cost of living relief that Australians desperately need. We know that Australians are doing it tough at the moment. The government's listening and we're acting on that.
OK. How long do you expect Fatima Payman to stay in the Labor Party?
Well, look, I was sad to read Fatima Payman's statement last night. And I was sad because we want Fatima Payman to be a normal, fully participating member of the Labor Party caucus. And, you know, from my perspective, she said that she believes in a two-state solution in the Middle East. She believes in the recognition of the state of Palestine. Well, that's what we are working to achieve in our government. And the collective approach of the Labor Party through the Federal Parliamentary Caucus believes that together we can do more than any individual. And if we look at what we have achieved since we come into government in this space, the Labor government that Senator Payman was elected with has already made significant changes with respect to the Middle East. We reversed Scott Morrison's decision to recognise Jerusalem as the capital of West Jerusalem as the capital.
You did that very cheekily, though, if I recall.
We made that statement in opposition and we continued in government very consistently. We changed the way we talk about the region to the occupied Palestinian territories. We made it clear that at international law, settlement activity in the West Bank is illegal. We've rebalanced our positions in a number of international forums. We doubled the funding for UNRWA. So these are things that a collective Labor team was able to achieve by winning government. Now, since we won government, since the October 7 atrocities committed by Hamas in Israel, we've also taken a consistent, principled approach to this conflict. And, you know, last week in the Parliament, we moved a motion saying that the state of Palestine should be recognised as a part of a peace process. So an amendment to a motion saying that. That's entirely supportable, and it was an opportunity that I think was missed in that Parliament.
But on Senator Payman, though, when you openly defy your boss, not once but twice, most folks would get sacked. So why would this be different?
Well, by her actions and her words, she has excluded herself from the privileges of the Federal Parliamentary Labor Party caucus. It's open to her by her actions and words going forward. If she's willing to respect her colleagues, if she's willing to respect the way that the caucus takes collective decisions, she's welcome to come back, and I hope that she does that, because together we can achieve more for the causes that she believes in than individually. I mean, Senate motions achieve nothing. Honestly, like, I've travelled in the region, I've met with countries in that region, I've met with the central players in that region. They don't raise Senate motions with me, let alone failed Senate motions. They raise the policies of our government, the $72.5 million of humanitarian support we've provided for the acute needs resulting from that conflict. That's what matters, and that's what together as a Labor team we can deliver.
Tim Watts, the Assistant Foreign Minister. Appreciate your time, Tim. Thank you.